Hello, YouTube family, and welcome to No More RIP. There's no more residing in poverty. My name is Ray, and I will talk about how to get out of poverty. Poverty, particularly in the African American community. Facts: African Americans have the lowest credit scores, the lowest net worth, the lowest home ownership, the lower levels of financial literacy. So that's why I created this channel, is to address these issues. And the main issue is financial illiteracy, not just with undereducated people, but even academically educated people are financially illiterate. And what that means is that these people make money, but they do not know how to manage and maximize the usage of that money. And it shows all the time. First of all, hit the subscribe button, give me the thumbs up, share the video, and if you have any questions or comments, send them to info@yenonemit.com. That's info@YENOMEMIT.com, and I will respond to your questions and comments. Remember, no more residing in poverty. This is a financial literacy show. It is not about materialistic things, how you can drive a Lamborghini, how you can drive a Rolls Royce, wear Rolex watches, etc. Those are materialistic things. Those type of shows who emphasize those things, those are not financial literacy shows. Those are financial literacy, waste of money type shows. So it's up to you. I do not emphasize spending your money on those items unless you can afford them. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people who have the cars, have the homes, but they cannot afford them. Believe me, a lot of those people can't. I worked as a loan officer in the mortgage loan industry for over 10 years, and I used to refinance homes. I used to get loans approved for purchases. So I get to see all the information. I get to see the net worth, the debt ratios, the credit scores, etc. And believe me, a lot of people out there, their incomes are here, their debts are here. And what I call it is looking good and being broke. And some people, that's their life. They like looking good and being broke. Matter of fact, in my book, Use Rules for Financial Success, How to Unleash the Poverty Chain, first chapter, Don't Let the Joneses Get You Down. And the reason I wanted to make that the first chapter in the book is because that's the reason I see so many people who are broke, because they are trying to or want to keep up or catch up with the Joneses. Good example. I've seen people who get decent paying jobs. Not a whole lot of money, but it is a whole lot of money. $80,000 a year, $100,000 per year. Some less than $60,000. But the first thing they want to do, they want to create this lifestyle of pretentiousness. I'm pretending to be this person that have money. And several years ago, I remember working at a government agency, and they hired a lot of people. The pay was very decent. And we used to joke about it because the cars that was in the parking lots, all the cars with the dealer tags on them, the type of cars, and you could see that, hey, these people got this job. Now they want to have a lifestyle right away. So it happens. People need to understand building wealth takes time, effort, and knowledge. Financial literacy is power. Now, how do we start to get there? How do we get there, rather? First of all, knowing where you are and where you want to go. 3 things I always recommend that you know. your credit scores, your debt ratio, and your net worth. Start off by focusing on those three things when you start your journey to building personal wealth. Why credit scores? Because when you have adequate credit, it doesn't have to be perfect, but adequate credit, it allows you to access money. Money that you can use to invest in real estate, in the stock market, in a business. Now, number two, debt ratio. Why debt ratio? Because the debt ratios are what the banks or lenders look at when you go to borrow money. They will look at your credit scores. They will look at your debt ratio. Now, if you don't understand debt ratio, look it up. But that is a very important part of financial literacy, is knowing your debt ratio, because your debt ratio shows where you are financially. Example, I've seen people that have homes that's maybe $200,000, $300,000, and I'm talking Texas prices, maybe in the South, period, properties, middle income properties. But, this home is a house that has no equity. Some of them are upside down, which means negative. But the house look nice, it's maybe 3,200 square feet, but they're upside down. They have a negative net worth. So again, you go to the bank and you want to borrow money, but you have a high debt ratio. Your debt ratio is 90%. And I've seen this, believe me, I've seen it, where people attempt to borrow money, but yet their debt ratios are 80, 90, and sometimes over 100%. Well, lenders don't loan money to people who are overextended. Simple as that. So that's why you need to focus on what is your debt ratio. Where do you want your debt ratio to be? I always recommend try to get your debt ratio 40% and under, preferably around 30%. Next thing is net worth. How much are you worth on paper? When you take your assets minus your liabilities, how much are you worth? If you have a $300,000 home, you owe $295,000. Then you have a car. The car is worth $25,000. You owe $24,000. Your net worth is very low. So focus on those three things if you are wanting to build personal wealth. Next thing, be patient. Don't rush it. I like to use the lottery as an example of how people like to rush things. It would be nice to get a windfall. But the problem is sometimes when people get the windfall, they are still financially illiterate and they end up losing the money, being scammed out of the money, etc. But what amazes me is when people get excited, let's say when the lottery is $1 billion. So you have people line up at the stores buying lottery tickets. But when the lottery is at $10 million, there's no line. I mean, like, that's odd. You can't use the 10 million. You need the billion. So everybody's not rushing out trying to buy the $10 million lottery ticket. And what that tells me is that these are people who are not thinking. They're not thinking that, hey, if I want money and I want a windfall, I should be playing the lottery on a regular basis. All these people that's lined up, why aren't they lined up when the lottery is at $10 million? And if they do line up for it, why are they lining up? Do they want the money? Because naturally let's say they want the money because it will change their lives. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. And a lot of times it depends on that person, their personality, and their education, financial education. Because you hear all these stories about people winning lotteries and going broke. People in the entertainment industry going broke. They make millions of dollars. Athletes make millions of dollars and they end up broke. They end up getting scammed because they're not financially literate. So why have all this money and you don't know how to manage the money? And the people that you have managing the money know you don't know how to manage the money, so they're taking advantage of you. Again, the show is No More RIP, No More Residing in Poverty. My name is Ray. Hit the like button, give me the thumbs up, subscribe, share the video, send your questions to info@yenomeemit.com. That's info@YENOMEMIT.com. Also, go to the website, www.YenomeEmitInc.com. That's YenomeEmitInc.com. YENOMEMITINC.com. And read the blog, look at the resources that's available on the website. And I guarantee you, if you make a decision to become financially literate, you will have the ability to change your financial life. I don't care if you're 25, 55, 75. It can be done. Particularly now with technology. You can learn so much just by going to YouTube or going to Google when you're trying to research for information and know-how. Then we have artificial intelligence, which does a lot of things to keep people from thinking, basically. That's the way I look at it. It thinks for you. You spell check. It checks things for you. So the thing is, what is it that you want? An example would be, for me, when I can tell people aren't trying to advance financially based on what they talk about, what they read, and what they do. When I see people, all they talk about is sports. That's all they talk about. They never talk about business. They never talk about going into business. They never talk about investing. But yet they will talk about how broke they are. They will talk about how much money the athletes and the entertainers are making. But then they won't talk about what they're making because they're not trying to make anything. They have been, I would say, misguided into believing they can't build wealth. So they do nothing. Even though they have a job, they have cash flow. They may not be managing the cash flow properly in order to build wealth because they have not gotten to the level of consciousness where they think, hey, I want to build wealth. Let me look at my, or create a financial statement to see where I am, or get someone to create a financial statement and I can see where I am and what I need to do. You know, how do I pay off my credit cards? How do I pay off my installment loans? You know, how do I get more money? How do I get educated? So again, people who want to do something will do it. I have an acronym I use in my business. It's called GOYADS, GOYAADS, which stands for get off your ass and do something. Get off your ass and do something. I see so many people sit around complaining about, you know, politicians won't do this, they won't do that, or this reason is, you know, why I can't get anywhere. No, the reason you can't get anywhere is because of your lack of effort. I mean, let's go back to, like I talk about on other shows I've had. I always like to use, for example, one person in particular, Madam C.J. Walker, who was the first female millionaire, not black female millionaire, but female period, self-made millionaire in 1913. Not just her, there were some other people that was wealthy back then. But my point is, these people was not sitting around where at that time they could have used every excuse in the book. The banks won't loan me money. The government won't do this. I mean, it's almost everything was against them. Only thing they had in their favor was their conscious level and thought process. So why is it now we still have so many black people complaining about what the politicians want to do, what other people are doing? They're giving other people money. I say, well, even though it's not true in most cases, but I tell people, so what? What are you going to do? Are you going to complain or are you going to find a way? because there is a way. You just have to decide if you want to find that way. Who do you associate with? Again, what do your associates talk about? I guarantee you, I walk in a room and say, football, I can get a conversation going with no problem. I walk in the room and say, Dow Jones Industrial is up 200 points or down 200 points. No conversation. One reason I believe is because we do not get educated in our environment. In my book, there's a chapter, Environmental Paralysis. What is environmental paralysis? That means that your mind has been paralyzed based on your environment, the people that you're around, the people that you talk to that have all the negative things to say about why things can't be done. So when you're growing up or you're an adult, you have heard this and you believe it. You believe it, but because you haven't taken the time to look further outside your environment. Well, hey, I'm black, this person black, why are they wealthy and I'm not? Sometimes it's because that person chose to do something. They may have come from the same environment as you. Family did not teach them about personal finance or building wealth. They decided to take a direction to learn, take the direction to learning themselves. So nobody's holding you back. The only thing that's holding you back is you. I remember hearing the guy made a good point. Now, sometimes there are justifications, but I heard a person make a good point. As African Americans, we're behind in the race because the other people got a head start. And the way he summarized it is that look at it as like the Indy 500. Okay, the Indianapolis 500 is a 500-mile race. So the other people got, so let's just say, a 400-year start, a 400-mile, let's say, using the race. And the other group, is behind by 400 years and trying to catch up. So yes, it's difficult. You're racing 500 miles and someone else got a 400-mile head start on you. It is almost impossible to catch up, but you can gain ground. You can keep racing, keep going for it. Gain some more ground, because somewhere along the line, that car that's 400 miles might break down. And what I mean by break down, sometimes the system is broken down or has been broken down. Certain barriers has been broken. Whereas one time, blacks could not buy homes in certain areas. In some cases, blacks couldn't buy homes at all. Blacks couldn't go to the bank and get loans. And even today, that's still difficult. But you can make that easier. How do you make it easier? Credit score, debt ratio. Prove them wrong. Some will now still try to reject you. But when you have the financial knowledge, you qualify. Again, the show is no more RIP, no more residing in poverty. Give me the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share the video. Go to the website, www.YenoemInc.com. And you will learn that you do have the power to get out of poverty. Get out of poverty. It takes time. Someone has to break that chain, the poverty chain. Will it be you? Or will your kids grow up in poverty because you passed it on to them? You did not educate them. You did not sit and watch channels like this about financial literacy. So what happens? You are buying material things. You have the 3,200 square foot home. You have the Lexus, etc., whatever material things. And then you're buying your kids those same material things, the up-to-date cell phone, the certain brand clothing, etc. So you're teaching them the same bad habits that you have. Even though my daughter's grown, but when my daughter's growing up, we shop at thrift stores. And I would explain to her, it's nothing wrong with shopping at thrift stores. A lot of times those items are in perfect condition, some cases new. So there's nothing wrong with it. Later on, several years later, I think she was maybe 15, 16. We're at the mall shopping, and I want to buy her something nice. So she looks at the price tag and go, Dad, did you see how much that is? And I'm like, yes, Aaliyah, but I want to buy it. It's, for you. But the thing is, she had the conscious level and recognized there's nothing wrong with shopping at thrift stores because that's the way she was groomed. Don't waste your money. Look for the best deal. Don't brag. There's no bragging rights in what type of shoes you're wearing and what kind of purse you're carrying, especially as a poor person. To me, when I'm out and I see someone, with material things, and they're a poor person, my mindset is, why is this person wearing this name brand gear, clothing, or even bragging about it at that, and they're broke. But to some people, they like that satisfaction of feeling like they have something. And I remember this story. A friend of mine has a shop that does repair for leather. And he was telling me about when someone bought a purse in, supposedly be a name brand purse, and she was bragging about how much she paid for the purse, and she didn't want to get rid of it. And he said he didn't want to break her heart and let her know it was a knockoff because he know the difference. But she thought because of the name and the looks, she had the real deal. And that's the way so many people are. They buy things, they don't know the value of it. They just know the name. They don't know what makes it valuable. You buy a diamond ring. What makes that diamond ring worth the money you paid for it? Do you understand the clarity of it? The weight, the cut. What makes it valuable? Other than the fact that someone said it's a diamond. So same thing with a car. What makes the car valuable? You go out and buy a brand new car. What makes it worth $35,000, $30,000? Why are you buying it? Do you need it or you want it? I always buy cars based on need. I went several years without a car. I had buddies that worked for the transportation system that would joke with me about riding the bus. And I would explain to them, I'm saving money. I don't want a car payment. I need to go outside the public transportation. I rent a car. Take it back. No insurance, no monthly payments. Save my money up, purchase a used car. Remember purchasing one car for $1,000, a Volvo. Had the car for over 5 years. Yes, routine maintenance, some things. But it served my purpose, which was to have decent transportation. Whereas I have had clients that would say, I don't want to buy somebody else's headache. I want a new car. And they go out and buy the new car. One person in particular, I remember, bought the new car after I advised her to buy a cash car. Had the new car maybe 6 months, it was repossessed. Suppose she had bought a cash car. Some people talk about, well, I don't want a headache. If you buy a car for, say, $1,500, $2,000, and it's a good running car when you purchase it, just spend a little money to perform maintenance on it, to keep it running good. You don't need to go out and get a $20,000, $25,000 car and put $2,000, $3,000 down and have a monthly payment, and you're already struggling before you buy the car. So it doesn't make sense. Financial literacy is power. Believe me, financial literacy is power. And I will, through future videos, give examples and proof of what you can do with financial literacy to make money, to save money. Now, one thing I like to point out when it comes to financial literacy, I remember several years, well, many years ago, maybe in the 90s, I would say, there was a 7-story office building for sale in the center of downtown Fort Worth, Texas, which at that time was dead. The building was going for sale for $150,000. It was being sold through the savings and loans bailout. So at the time, I did not have the money. I had some money. So I wanted to get with some other guys I knew, and 3 guys, 4 guys, we put in $5,000 each, make the down payment, get qualified, and bid on the building. No one wanted to do it. Another person purchased the building. 2.5 years later, they sold the building for $1.3 million. But the people I, wanted to get with didn't see that. They didn't understand that a 7-story office building in downtown for $150 was a bargain. I had people several years ago when the stock market was down, trying to encourage them to buy Ford, buy American Airlines, Southwest Airlines, a lot of these Fortune 500 companies. The stock was down, some of them about 80, 90%. But what happened? Fear. People talk about the stock market going down and you're losing your money, but they tend to forget that the market goes up also. The market makes a comeback. Real estate makes a comeback. So when things happen, that's a buying opportunity. And unfortunately, when people are financially illiterate, they don't see that. So the other people jump in and take advantage of it. And even in the Black community, see this all the time. Other people are coming in, buying the homes that we won't buy. We see those as, no, I don't want to live in that area. I don't want that raggedy house, as some people call it. But the other people see value. They can see the value in buying that house and rehabbing that property. Not just the investors, but some people who come from other countries, they recognize that, hey, this is a good deal. I remember when I was purchasing homes in a certain area of Fort Worth, and those homes was going for $5,000, $3,000. And I'm like, and I had moved back from California. So I'm like, why aren't people buying these houses? Financial illiteracy, not understanding. That's a bargain to be able to buy a house at $3,000, $5,000. I don't care if it is run down. It has value. If you have to put money in, yes, but what happens when you put money in? It brings the value up. So again, financial literacy is power. Learn the financial system. Learn why other people are building wealth. Just because you're broke now doesn't mean you have to be broke next year. Again, back to, as I mentioned earlier, technology. At this point, technology is making lots of people out of millionaires because those people are taking advantage of it. Some people through scams, which unfortunately, but that happens. But there are a lot of people who are legitimately becoming millionaires in less than a year because of technology. And give an example. Online sales, digital products being sold online. With internet now, we have the ability to reach millions of people without spending a lot of money. So let me give you an example. You're broke. You have no money or very little money. Let's say you have less than $500 and you find a product online that you can sell, whether it's drop shipping, whether it's a digital product, and you take the chance to, say, advertise or market some type of way. And you set your goals not to become a millionaire, but to make enough money to where you can take that money and reinvest it into more advertising. So let's just say you have a product that you can make $50 off of, and you have enough money to advertise, say on TikTok or Instagram. Or in some cases, you don't have to pay for paid advertising if you do it the right way, which I will discuss in another video. So there are ways to do it. But taking that example of finding a $50 product or service that you can sell online, and let's just say you get 1,000 sales in a month. $50, $50,000 in a month. Working from home, no staff to pay, no overhead. It's happening. It's really happening for those people who haven't investigated it. Some people went from $0 to $1 million in less than 45 days. Again, where is your energy being directed? Are you watching football games on the weekend for, I don't know, whatever it takes to watch one game, and you're watching 2 games per weekend or 2 games per day on a Saturday, 2 games on a Sunday? But again, what I'm talking about is time. Where are you putting your time? Where is your time going? Is it going towards education, or is it going towards miseducation? You know, for example, I had someone and I was telling them about making $1,000 per day. He could not believe how easy it is to make $1,000 per day, because he had never investigated it. Once I explained it to him, he got excited. And most people do. But now just getting excited doesn't work. You have to take action. You have to continue the process of thinking, of learning. And you keep going. You keep on pushing until you get or maximize what you want. If you want to make $1 million per month, you do it. You work on it. You make money, you reinvest your money. That happens all the time. Look around you. Major corporations, they do it all the time. They advertise. They continue to advertise. They don't say, well, we've been around 50 years, 60 years. We don't need to advertise. What they should tell you is that advertising works. So you as a small person, a small business person, or individual, your focus should be on advertising. Letting people know what you have to offer. Simple. So if you make $10,000, you don't go out and put $5,000 down on a car. You go out and put $5,000 into more advertising. Again, it works. No more RIP. No more residing in poverty if you so desire. To get out of poverty, get your education. Become financially literate, and your life will change. Again, my name is Ray. The show is No More RIP, No More Residing in Poverty. Hit the like button, subscribe, share the video. Look forward to future videos.